What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about Land and Sea Splashdown, which is the first book of a 6-book series. And kind of the way this series works is that the first 3 books are actually a connected trilogy. And then book 4 is a collection of short stories that kind of delve into other conflicts, and because the story it affects the whole world. So there's opportunities for stories all around the world, not just what's going on kind of like in the main story arc. So book 4 is a collection of short stories, of kind of cool little stories like that. And then book 5 and 6, they're both novels, but both standalone novels. They're not interconnected at all. I mean, it's all the same world, all the same events are happening in the world. And there are a few characters from the trilogy that come back in the 5th and 6th, especially the 6th book. They kind of sprinkled in a little bit in the 5th book, but not a lot. Those are pretty much all new characters. But anyway, today we're talking about the first book. Like I said, Land and Sea Splashdown. So to get into that, talk a little bit more about it. It's not just a book series, Land and Sea. It's owned by a company called Creative Juggernaut. And I'll put a link in the notes if you want to go check them out. Basically, it's 4 guys. You can go look at all their names on the website. But the world itself, it was created by a man named Brett Evans, who is a part of Creative Juggernaut. But the books were written by Blaine Pardoe, who's also written for BattleTech, and he's a New York Times best-selling author. He does a lot of I saw that he writes like military history stuff like that. So, and you can definitely tell that the guy really knows his military history inside this book. There's a lot of that peppered in. In addition to the Creative Juggernaut website, which kind of has some info, there is a pretty sweet Discord. I'm not actually affiliated with this company at all. Just I'm a fan, and I'm in a Discord for this IP. In fact, one of the members, I think they're all in there, but one of the guys from Creative Juggernaut posts in there pretty frequently. So if you're a fan, I definitely recommend trying to get in that Discord. That being said, there is also a Land and Sea wiki, fandom.com, and I'll drop a link for that as well, so you can kind of get like a little deeper. They categorize all the lore, and kind of like outside that, they kind of tell you kind of what the future plans are for the franchise, which is pretty cool. I participated in the crowdfunding campaign for the graphic novel called Paradise, which is going to be covering a battle that happened in Hawaii. According to my receipt, I should be getting that in May 2025. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm not going to hold them super strict to that. I know I've never done this before, so as far as like crowdfunding goes, so I'm keeping an open mind and see how things go. But I'm excited for that. And then they also revealed their war game. They're setting up a war game for that they designed, and they did a demo for it at Galaxy's Edge Fan Expo, I think it's called. It was in Whidbey Island, Washington. It was like 2 weekends ago, July 2024, on one of the weekends. I don't know, it was pretty recent to when I was filming this video. Didn't get to go. Wish I could have, because that would have been awesome. I only live, 5-6 hours away from Whidbey. But no dice this summer because we're getting ready to go to Disneyland. So it is what it is. But anyway, kind of a unique situation. It's not just a regular book review, because it's a company that's trying to build a bigger IP rather than just books. But however, right now, only thing they have out are the 6 books, and it's kind of interesting. It looks like they actually finished all 6 books, and they kind of released them. I think it was 2022 or 2023. They dropped them, so they're pretty new. Like I said, Blaine Pardoe is the author. He didn't create the world, but he is the author. And like I said, he used to write for BattleTech. So this is kind of I don't know much about BattleTech, but it sounds like there's mechs in it. So this is kind of the same wheelhouse. It's future Earth. Same history as our Earth. I think the timelines diverge around 2020, and then at that point, it's this alternate universe. If I could try and explain it or describe it by comparing it to other things, I would say it's probably close to Battle Los Angeles and Edge of Tomorrow kind of mixed together with some Tom Clancy political intrigue. And broad strokes, I'm not going to go into spoilers. I don't want to get too detailed on like what's in the book because it's just a review. It's not a spoiler lore dump. So it's future Earth. It's not like post-apocalyptic, but it is post-war. There is a major conflict inside this canon between Russia and the United States. And so the story takes place, not like, I mean, there's veterans from that war that are still fairly young, right? So hasn't been like far back in the past. I think the current day in the book is like 2040, something around there. This story, it follows several different POV characters. So each chapter moves to another point of view, and they are all from different perspectives. So you have an active duty Marine grunt. You have a Army intelligence officer, a Navy submarine XO. You have a reporter that's like, trying to get spicy deets. You have like a tech company CEO mogul dude who has like a lot of military contracts. You have a high school girl whose dad is a government contractor. He's a civilian, but he's a government contractor. You have a veteran from that Russia, it's called the Russo-Bratva War, I think. Yeah. And he has like PTSD. He's got a bionic leg. Oh, am I missing anybody? Oh, and there's a Army Master Sergeant who is a pilot, or they call them pilots. For what the coolest part of the book is the Asher. It's Ashur, Asher rigs. And they get the name named after a Syrian god of war. I didn't know that. I learned that from reading the book. That's pretty dope. But the Asher rigs, if you wanted to compare them, they're not like Gundams or like Mechasalt, like massive mechs. They're more, they're like the mechs from Avatar, where you like put your arms, put your legs in, and it's described in the book like your feet, like you'd be standing on the kneecaps of the suit. So they're like 8-9 feet tall or something like that. And there's different ones. And each country has different ones. Some countries don't have any. America, the American Ashers are named like after animals, like lion, rhino, honey badger, hyena, stuff like that. So yeah, the plot, it's a post-war America, 2040s, something like that, near future Earth. Aliens have slowly been invading Earth and landing in our oceans. Is kind of how they've avoided being detected. Earth, we see them coming in, but we think they're like meteors or something, right? So slowly, I think it's a 5-year period, the aliens have been landing and kind of setting up shop down in the ocean. And then eventually a conflict arises towards the end of the book. And that's kind of when we're like, oh, yeah, there's definitely aliens here. And there's a huge fight. And the book kind of ends like we got punched in the mouth and we're reeling like, holy crap, dude, we just got effed up really bad. What's our next step? And the book ends. Because, it's, like I said, they wrote them all and like released them back to back. So it sets up the next books, which I think is totally fair. It's clear that they were setting up a series here. Yeah, like I said, so the mechs are called Ashers, different names, and the different models, they have like different, like there's fast ones, there's heavy armored ones, there's ones with different like, more firepower, stuff like that. But they're all like dangerous. Obviously they're mechs. And the ones they're currently using in this book are called the Gen 3s. The Gen 1s, I don't know if they talk about it in this book. I mean, it's not really a spoiler, but if I remember correctly from reading it in one of the other books, the Gen 1s are actually a lot like what I think you'd see like in Edge of Tomorrow, where it's just like a, like an exosuit, like an exoskeleton metal frame that kind of just enhances you a little bit. Whereas, these Ashers are full on suits, completely encased. It's like you have a cockpit with like super reinforced glass protecting you, much like the mech in Avatar, about that size and everything. So I think the firepower is probably way more insane than the ones in Avatar, but they have like rockets, lasers, rail guns, rocket pods, super gangster stuff. But also even just like the regular foot soldiers, like the grunts, pretty cool. They got armor that has like, when it gets hit, I think it's a gel that's inside, like hardens to kind of like reduce the impact so you don't die. It also has like an active camouflage where you can go invisible, but it's super easy, according to the book. It's super easy for the camouflage to fail. Like if the conditions aren't right or moving too fast, if you get hit with a bullet, your camouflage is gonna fail and the enemy will see you. They also use drones. They have like 4-legged like dog drones, and they're all named after different dogs. So there's like the husky, the pit bull, and the greyhound. So the greyhound is like fast and it's good for reconnaissance, and then the pit bull is an attack drone, and the husky is good for it's like carrying heavy loads. You can put like wounded personnel on it. You can haul like heavy support weapons, stuff like that. So that's pretty much the makeup of like the human forces. And they have like in their helmets, I forgot, it's pretty dope. So in their helmets, they have like a heads-up display. They can see basically like a map of the battle space, and they kind of use, I think they usually call them pocket drones, and like other drones as well. They kind of help them get a layout of the battlefield, which is pretty dope. And they have stackable grenades, which are cool. The humans definitely have cool weapons too. But the aliens, so whereas we have like, machines, basically like it's our technology, the aliens is all biological. Like, they have like these big crab scorpion monsters like the size of a car or something, and their guns are like built into their claws, so they'll shoot like acid or high pressure water that'll cut your arm off, gas, needles that have like poison that make you go numb and like paralyze you. Like all kinds of like nasty, super toxic, inhumane weapons that we humans wouldn't use against each other, but they don't really seem to have that issue. I don't want to go too in depth on all different aliens, but the aliens are cool. They are aquatic, themed. They crash in the ocean. They live in the ocean. So it's a very, aquatic sea type species. One of the things that I like about it is like, there's that trope where it's like, if the only thing that can unite humanity is an alien invasion. Not in the story. Dude, there's people that are like, how can I use this to my advantage to get ahead? Let me go steal some alien tech, and I'll figure out how to harness that, and then I'll sell it to the government or whatever. It's just and even like the governments, like people like old rivalries or animosities. It's I think it's more realistic, honestly. Like that's how I think if we were invaded, I really don't think we would be united. I think this is a more accurate depiction. I think we would begrudgingly, in some instances, work together. But I think this story, I think, is more accurate to how humanity probably would be if we were invaded by aliens. We already covered the character, but he does a great job with the characters. The characters in this book, as I kind of ran through them, but they're pretty well fleshed out. You don't really feel like they're not repetitious. They're all individual, unique. And so when you go to each new chapter, it doesn't feel like you're just reading the same character over and over again, just with a different name attached. They really do feel like well fleshed out characters. And the action, the first book, there's not a ton because like they're building up, right? But there's a lot of suspense. There's a lot of, there is action, and then, dude, the action is especially like the sub. I'll say there's a sub altercation with the submarine. That's pretty tense. He does a really good job of kind of building tension there, which is good because in this book there's a lot of slow build up where you're kind of like, oh my gosh, are these aliens gonna come out? But I do think he does a really good job of keeping you hooked by he like drops in. It's not just like constantly alien sightings, but he'll drop an alien sighting and then a bunch of character development and kind of building the tension. Like, oh, what's this? There's some random stuff happen over here. Let's piece these different incidents together. What's going on? And a bunch of trying to put the puzzle pieces together. But then he'll go to a scene and okay, there's an oil rig and all these weird creatures are eating the legs off the oil rig, right? So you get these little pieces sprinkled in that kind of oh man, make you want to keep reading more. And then by the time you do get to the end, I'll say the big reveal, right? The big reveal. That's I don't want to leave I don't want to spoil and really go too in deep on it, but I'll say the big reveal of the aliens. It is towards the end of the book. It's kind of where it leaves off, and totally worth it. The build up was great, and then it sets up the next two books, because like I said, the other books are kind of standalones, but it sets the trilogy up great. My personal favorite of the books is the third one, Storm Surge, but this book definitely worth reading. The only issue I really have with any of them, there are some typos. So I don't know if they could be like gone back through one more time and do like a republish. But I mean, it's really not that big a deal, for me at least. Doesn't take anything away from the story. Yeah, it's just, I noticed it. I couldn't not say something about it. But like I said, I don't care. I would absolutely recommend this book. I'm a huge fan of the series. When the game comes out, I'm absolutely going to buy probably like a full set so I can like get someone else into it. 100%. And like I said, I already contributed to the crowdfunding campaign because I want that graphic novel. I read these books on Kindle Unlimited. I'm pretty confident there is an Audible or there's an audiobook, and you can buy them on Amazon. That being said, like I said, I read them all, so I can't say I'm excited to read the next one because I already read it. I will review each one. If you get the book and you end up liking it, I would definitely go and support their graphic novel if it's still open. I'm not sure if it is. And then also keep an eye out for the, if you're into tabletop, their war game that's coming out. They're also going to be working on a TT RPG as well. So there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out. I'm personally super excited, and I hope the day comes where they release a video game. I'm not affiliated with them. I have no idea if they will or if they're looking for it. It's probably way down the road. They're a small operation right now. But if it ever happens, yeah, that's going to be a sick world. Hopefully they don't sell. It's like Ubisoft or something to try and do, because that'd be terrible. But definitely looking forward to see what Creative Juggernaut and their team has coming down the pipeline in the years to come, because these 6 books were pretty good. I liked them. I don't think it's too crazy to say that I'm gonna fanboy on this. I'm a fan. Yeah, I made some Land and Sea swag on my wife's Cricut, so I'm there. If you guys are there, check it out. Give me a like and a subscribe, because I'm gonna keep posting more vids. I've been reading a lot of books lately, and I'm kind of, especially with my Kindle Unlimited. Yeah, that's just, aside from video games, reading is probably like one of my favorite things to do. So I figured I'm just gonna start talking about books. So I just wanted to share my love of books with you guys. And I'm not a genius or a literary scholar. I'm just a nerd who has kids and likes to read. So, bye.